Every winter, my family told me, there's no space for you or your kids. So we stood outside in the cold while they enjoyed themselves around the table. This year, I built my own home, hired their favorite chef, and hosted Christmas dinner, without them. When the photos went up on social media, they showed up furious. "Don't twist this on me, Liam. You've always been the problem." Cora's voice cracked through the dining room. Her chair screeched back, legs grinding against hardwood. A fork slipped from her plate and clattered to the floor, but no one moved to pick it up. The table looked perfect. White linen stretched tight, polished silver, wine catching the glow of candles. But beneath all that polish, the air was thick, suffocating. Dad, Garrison, paced like a general about to explode, fists curled, face flushed from whiskey. He'd already stormed into his study once, then returned, restless and loud. Mom, Miriam, sat at the far end, thin napkin trembling in her hand as she dabbed at her eyes. She cried often, but never in a way that protected me. Ezra, my brother, leaned forward in his chair, lips curled. He gripped his glass so hard his knuckles whitened. Wine sloshed over the rim, dripping down onto the cloth like blood. "You think posting your little Christmas pictures makes you better than us?" he hissed. "You think building that house erases what you've done?" I said nothing. I didn't need to. Ezra's eyes narrowed. Silence irritated him. It always had. He slammed his glass down so hard the stem cracked. "Go on, Liam," he spat, his voice low but seething. "Tell them the truth. Tell them what you did to us." The room froze. Even the ticking clock seemed to hold its breath. "My name is Liam Rourke. I'm 26. For most of my life, I've been the shadow in this house, the quiet one, the overlooked one, the son who didn't argue because arguing never mattered. Silence became my skin. When they mocked me, I stayed still. When they locked me and my kids outside in the snow, I stayed quiet. When they blamed me for things I never touched, I swallowed it whole. But silence builds pressure. It fills your chest like water, rising until one day it spills over. And tonight I knew it was coming. They thought they were fighting me for pride, for appearances. But I was sitting on something heavier, something I'd carried for years, something they weren't ready to face. Family members introduced Cora Rourke, 30, oldest sister. She's the kind who cuts you down before you finish a sentence. Her confidence has always been mistaken for strength. Her loyalty only runs one way. Ezra Rourke, 32. Golden child. Dad's shadow, mom's pride. He's the one they handed everything to. Land, accounts, second chances. He wears arrogance like a coat, but underneath, he's always been terrified of slipping. Miriam Rourke, my mother. She cries quietly, folds her hands, plays fragile. But her silence has been just as sharp as Dad's anger. She watches everything, pretends she's helpless. I used to believe that. Not anymore. Garrison Rourke, my father. Loud, proud, and forever right in his own eyes. The kind of man who loves control more than family. He's built empires out of stone, but his words have cracked the walls inside his own house. And me, Liam, the one they shoved aside, the one they thought too quiet to notice. But I notice everything. Ezra's jaw worked like he was chewing broken glass. "You want to know where the money went, Dad? You want to know why Liam thinks he's got leverage?" Dad turned sharp, his voice a roar. "Enough!" But Ezra couldn't stop. His temper always betrayed him. "You think he's innocent? He's been waiting for this moment for us to fall so he can crawl out looking better." I let a slow breath out. My voice, calm. "Better? No. But I don't need to steal from family to stand on my own." Ezra's head snapped toward me, his face drained of color. Cora's brows knit. "Steal? What are you saying?" I leaned forward just enough. "Ask him where Dad's last loan went. Ask him why the business account is empty." The room trembled with silence, and for the first time, I saw fear flicker across Ezra's face. Cora shot up again. "Don't drag Ezra down just because you're jealous. You never cared about this family, Liam. You just wait, circling like a vulture, hoping we collapse. Her words hit like slaps, but I didn't move, didn't flinch. Instead, I folded my hands. My calmness unnerved them. Ezra's voice cracked. He's lying. No. My voice cut through. Quiet, sharp. Everyone turned. My father froze mid-step. Mom's napkin slipped from her hands. You think this is about money? I asked. The room held still. No, I said again, slower this time. It's about what you all did to me. The silence after was heavier than any shouting. Last December, snow fell thick, burying the steps of their house. My daughter's small hand clutched mine, her mitten damp, her breath puffing white in the air. My son shivered under my coat, his cheeks raw from cold. We stood outside the door, waiting for Mom to open it, for Dad to wave us in, for anyone to say there was space for us. Instead, Cora's voice cut through the wood. There's no room this year, maybe next time. Through the frosted window, I saw them, plates piled high, fire glowing, laughter spilling like warmth we couldn't touch. My daughter whispered, Daddy, why won't Grandma let us in? And I couldn't answer. I couldn't tell her the truth, that her father was the family's exile. We stood there until their laughter blurred with the howl of the wind, until my children's lips turned blue. That night I promised myself, never again. So I built my own home. I hired their favorite chef. I filled the table. And I didn't invite them. But I made sure they saw every picture. You think you've outsmarted us? Ezra barked, standing so fast his chair toppled. You think showing off your new house makes you better? I turned to him, steady. Better? No, but at least I don't steal. His face drained. Cora looked between us, panicked. What's he talking about? I reached into my jacket. A folder, paper sliding against paper, bank statements, wire transfers, numbers that told the story better than I ever could. I dropped it onto the table. Dad's eyes scanned the pages. His hand trembled. Ezra, Cora's voice cracked. No, this isn't real. And then, softly, I spoke the words that broke the room. Mom knew. Mom's tears stopped cold. She didn't deny it. She just stared at me like a stranger. The room imploded. Dad roared at Ezra, voice booming off the walls. Cora shouted at Mom, demanding answers. Ezra grabbed the papers, ripping them, swearing it wasn't true. Chairs scraped, dishes clattered, voices tangled into chaos. I didn't move. I sat still in the storm, watching the house they built collapse under their own lies. And when their voices cracked into silence, I finally spoke. I gave you all my silence. Tonight, I give you the truth. Cora's lip trembled. Ezra's face twisted. Dad looked older than I'd ever seen him. And Mom just lowered her eyes. Because she knew. I stood slowly, pushing my chair back. The sound cut through the room sharper than a shout. You wanted me outside in the cold? I said. Fine. But don't be surprised that I built my own fire. No one answered. For once, they had no words left to cut me with. As I walked toward the door, Mom's voice followed, thin and broken. Liam, wait. Her plea caught in the air, fragile, almost real. But I didn't turn. They'll never see me the same again, I thought, stepping into the night air. And I don't need them to. The cold bit at my face, but it didn't sting anymore. My breath came out steady, strong. Ahead, the windows of my house glowed warm. Inside, my kids waited, safe, fed, loved. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was dragging their weight behind me. I wasn't the forgotten son. I wasn't the weak brother. I was just Liam, my own man. And as the snow crunched beneath my boots, I finally exhaled. Freedom hadn't come from their forgiveness. It came from finally letting go. Because sometimes peace isn't in fixing what's broken. It's in walking away from the glass before it cuts you again. If you were in my place, would you forgive? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Don't forget to like if Liam's journey hit your heart. Subscribe for more stories that dig deep into family, pain, and healing. And most of all, share your story in the comments. Because healing begins when we speak.